Feminism is taking a bashing now. Because what does it mean? Does it mean hating on men? And now, I will definitely say the biggest influences in my life have also been the most amazing men, starting with my father. Even if we choose not to be transparent, எங்களை பத்தி transparent-ஆ பேச போறாங்க. Social media is becoming that echo chamber in junctions. Society, feminism, today there are so many conversations around gender identity. அதெல்லாம் we all need to listen first. புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க first. Suppose I'm like a buffet. இல்ல?
They can choose what they want to take from you.
Yes, I am the Shruti buffet. No.
வணக்கம், வெல்கம் டு சினிமா எக்ஸ்பிரஸ். நான் அவினாஷ் ராமச்சந்திரன். இன்னைக்கு நம்ம கூட நடிகை ஸ்ருதி ஹாசன் இருக்காங்க. வெல்கம் டு அவர் ஷோ.
வணக்கம், thank you for having me.
Pleasure. ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட்லி, நிறைய இன்டர்வியூஸ்லாம் பார்க்கும்போது நீங்கள் அடிக்கடி யூஸ் பண்ணுற ஒரு விஷயம் வந்து கிரியேட்டிவ் ஆர்டிஸ்ட்ரி வந்து நான் வேறு ஃபீல்ட்ஸில் நான் ட்ரை பண்ணி ஐம் ட்ரைங் டு எக்ஸ்ப்ளோர் மை செல்ஃப் அப்படின்னு. How is that coming around now? Because you've been in cinema for so long, in music for so long. So every ஒரு avenueல வந்து உங்களை எக்ஸ்பிரஸ் பண்ணுறது எப்படி இருக்கு?
I feel very blessed that I can have these very many avenues. And I think poka I always persevere to improve my skill, improve my understanding of myself as a person, because the art is coming from that vessel. And I feel like I have a ways to go to fully express all the things that are inside me. I don't even think I've done 5%. So I'm really excited about this phase in our career, because I'm getting to start to finally articulate it.
ஏன்னா இப்போ இந்தியன் சினிமா நிறைய ஆக்டர்ஸஸ் நடக்கிற ஒரு விஷயம் வந்து, if they are pursuing something away from cinema, always வந்து அது ஒரு ஹாபியாக மட்டுமே பார்க்குற ஒரு விஷயம் இருக்கா? தனியாக அது ஒரு பேஷன், that is a way of expression றது பார்க்குறது இட்ஸ் நாட் வெரி prevalent.
I don't think இனிமே அப்படி இல்லை. ஒரு டைமில் எப்படி இருந்ததுன்னா, when I started out, I was told not to even really talk about music.
Right.
Because if you talk about music, then people will get distracted and think you're not serious about this. And I was like, listen, I am serious about the work I'm doing then in the room that I'm in. அது போறோம்ல.
Correct.
But things have definitely evolved. And in the காலத்தில், right now what we see is multitasking, managing a bandwidth, and showing your qualities is the way forward. So I'm grateful for that.
And that is something that social media is helping you to do, இல்லையா?
Not just me, everybody.
Right. And நீங்கள் வந்து உங்கள் ஆர்ட்டை பற்றி நீங்கள் பேசுகிறீங்க, உங்களை பற்றி நீங்கள் பேசுகிறீங்க. ஜென்ரலி முன்னாடிலாம் திருப்பி நான் வந்து கொஞ்சம் பின்னாடியே இப்போ பேசுகிறதுனால கேட்குறேன், ரொம்ப கார்டடாக இருப்பாங்க இல்லைங்களா?
Yeah.
இப்போ when you're open, letting the guards go down.
I was guarded as well.
Right.
நானும் guarded-ஆ தான் இருந்தேன். For example, because of social media and especially during lockdown, நிறைய பேருக்கு தெரியல that I actually fluently play the piano. Right? So they were like, wait a minute. அவங்களா இல்லை இது டூப்பு, அவங்க வந்து சவுண்ட் போட்டு சும்மா she's shaking her fingers. So I was like, really, people, எனக்கு I didn't even consider that they didn't know that I don't play.
Right.
So I was like, okay, that's interesting for me. இன்னொரு விஷயம்னா, I was also guarded. Today I was talking to a gentleman who was taking my interview, saying, and very angrily saying, why do you share everything and everything? Honestly, I think it's because he has less gossip to write about, number one. But number two is, I was guarded. And it didn't, in certain situations, it's not like I'm sharing everything.
Right, of course.
Obviously. But ஒரு situation எப்படின்னா, if you're not being true to your nature, and I'm quite outspoken. Your friends சொல்வாங்க, my teachers in school will tell you, I've just said it. It's not that I'm opinionated. I just say what I feel. When you tell that person to keep quiet for too long, it jars with their inside personality. Right. It's almost like a breaking, like a crack. And I think that crack was starting to form inside me. Listening to what I'm supposed to be versus who I just am. It was starting to show in the choices I made in life, the people I surrounded myself with, the movies I wanted to do. So that's why I took a break to reassess who I am. And people are like, adennadu, that sounds weird. Who are you na? But you'll be surprised, a lot of people aren't really sure who they are.
Yeah.
So I am really happy I took that time, and I like social media as a medium to just have fun. Yeah.
And when generally when you're fiercely independent, இல்லைன்னா நீங்கள் சொன்ன ஒப்பீனியேட்டட் சொல்லும் போது it is misconstrued as arrogance.
Before. Now people don't, they've realized I'm quite a dweeb. Amma, இது கொஞ்சம் like, she's not arrogant, she's just weird.
But how was it to cross that phase? Because நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி I know I'm not being, just being myself and இருக்கும்போது
no, I don't get, actually now when I opened up and shared my life and people started talking to me, they've never called me arrogant.
Right.
Which is so funny to me. Because then I think, yeah, first day pesi irukunume. Like I should have just been myself.
Yeah.
We also learn and grow. When you're younger, you're trying to project something you've not learned yet.
Right.
When you grow older, you realize you haven't learned anything at all. So
இவ்வளோ யோசிச்சிருக்க வேண்டாமோ அப்படின்னு.
Yeah, exactly.
And so coming back to cinema, உங்க choices இருக்கு இல்லைங்களா? I've seen ஹிந்தியில வந்து there's யாரானு இருக்கும். There's also பெஹன் ஹோகி தேரி.
And bestseller.
ஸோ டிஃப்ரெண்ட் ஒரு வேரியட் ஒரு இது இருக்குது. தமிழ்ல அந்த மாதிரி இருக்குது, எஸ்பெஷலி இன் தெலுங்கு. ஈவன் தோ அங்கே நீங்கள் வெறுமனே பார்த்தீங்கன்னா சாங் அண்ட் டான்ஸ் மாதிரி இருக்கலாம், பட் த ரோல்ஸ் யூ பிளேட் வெரி இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங். இப்போ ரேஸ் குரமாக இருக்கட்டும், இல்லை பலுப்புவாக இருக்கட்டும், த ரோல் சிம்பிள் அது இல்லை. ஸோ இஸ் தட் சம்திங் யூ ஆல்வேஸ் பீன் கிளியர் அபவுட்?
ஆமாம், ஐ திங்க் could I have pushed and worked towards இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் அந்த கதாபாத்திரத்தை பார்த்து இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் what you call non-commercial, I don't know, I don't like those words. Commercial film is a film that makes money for everyone.
Correct.
You know, but I feel pannirkalame, but you know, people have all of these opinions, but it's the hit films and the blockbusters that they also value. Right. In terms of economics.
Correct.
And in that sense, I've been a part of huge blockbusters, economically speaking. Even in Hindi, a Welcome Back. And in a Walter Veeraya or Veerasimha Reddy, I don't really have that much of a role. And I know that. But I had fun playing those roles. They were unique in that setup.
Correct.
And that's what I aimed for. Whereas, even in a Salaar, I feel that it's one step more because of the intelligence of the writing, I guess, of the role. And she's pivotal to the story.
Right.
Then coming to like The Eye, which is, you know, an English film.
Yeah.
That was just, it was just an experience. It was emotionally really ripping as well. I think the last time I felt like that was probably doing 3 or D-Day.
Right.
Where you feel a bit exhausted from it, you know. And it's a beautiful exhaustion because you have given yourself to play someone else. And that was a completely different experience. It's that character, Diana, from start to finish, from page 1 to the last page. And I couldn't be Shruti. We had work days of 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. and I ate and I slept. So I had Shruti with me for brushing my teeth and having a bath and eating the dinner.
And then it's just Diana.
It's just Diana.
And நீங்கள் ஐ பற்றி பேசுகிறமோ சொல்கிறேன், the wonderful line you said about that is sisterhood பற்றி. Because
yes.
மற்ற படத்தில் you will have to figure out the character because
as the female perspective
of course. இதில் வந்து you could discuss and get things done.
Yeah.
How was that?
Unbelievably different. See, I've worked with a female director before, but here, female director, female writer, female producer, female lead.
Right.
It's 4 women, and mind you, all independent, strong, fiercely creative and opinionated women. Yallarum was like Maharakshasis in our own way. Beautiful women in terms of what they've achieved, what they want to do, and I loved that. When it came to interpreting Diana இங்க ஏன் இப்படி பண்ணிருப்பா, அது ஏன் சொல்லிருப்பா, அது ஏன், it was fascinating to see how women perceived. The writer thought about it, but no, when I wrote it, நான் எழுதும்போது இப்படி யோசிச்சிருந்தேன். And I'm not thinking of Shruti. I have made a graph for this character, but அவ இப்படி பண்ணிருக்க மாட்டா. Then the director says, இல்ல, but I thought you'll play this scene this way. But it's all just women talking about the different kinds of women we know.
Right.
And how many women எங்க லைஃப்ல ஒரு இன்ஸ்பிரேஷனா இருந்திருக்காங்க. இல்ல, a woman we couldn't help in that moment and we noticed something. ஆனா அதுதான் the story of women. We notice and don't react, notice, don't know how to help. So this felt like all the women were noticing, speaking and being heard. Yeah.
இப்போ நீங்க சொன்ன being heardன்றதுனால lot of things that you say is being a reflection of lot of people's opinions இருக்கு. நிறைய பேர் வந்து feel validated by what you're saying
or relate to it.
So அப்படி இருக்கும்போது Is that a responsibility-ஆ பார்க்குறீங்களா? இல்ல how do you perceive that எல்லாரும் வந்து looking up to you அப்படின்ற ஒரு விஷயம் கூட
I don't know if they look up, like, okay, if they look up to me, I'm really honored, but I think it's more about, நான் வந்து, when I was a young fan of, say, rock music, or நான் interviews எல்லாம் படிப்பேன் of, say, Kurt Cobain or whoever. And நான் வந்து English music பத்தி ஏன் பேசுறேன்னா, because their style of speaking then was how we speak now, especially movie stars கூட அப்படி பேச மாட்டாங்க ஹாலிவுட்ல. Only the musicians talk like that. They talked about fear, loss, death, addiction, pain, and they said, obviously நான் அதை பத்தி பேசுவேன், என் பாட்டெல்லாம் அது பத்தி தானே. The pain of my life is in my songs. The joy or not a part, the joy in that song is from my life. So I want my fans to hear about this. I want them, and that was so inspiring. அந்த இன்டர்வியூ படிச்சு திருப்பி போய் பாட்டு கேட்கும்போது I felt like I knew them. And I felt like, even though I've never met them, okay, there's somebody else who understands.
Yeah.
We're in the same boat, sailing in different seas to different directions, but it's the same boat. And I always found that inspiring, and I never really thought I should speak like that. எனக்கு அது கிளிக்கே ஆகலை, நான் ஏன் அப்படி பேசக்கூடாதுன்னு. I think after a point I just got tired and exhausted, and I was hearing so many things about me that weren't true. That she's quiet, she's arrogant, she's weird. I was like, but you don't even know what I'm saying.
Right.
So அந்த நிலைமையில how can I blame somebody else? I can only
change the narrative.
And that's basically what I did. So I don't know if I see it as a responsibility, but if people can listen to a song or read a lyric or see a silly Instagram post and say, oh, okay, I get it, that's good for me.
And that's helping you also, like being constant touch with the people who are talking about you, and because you have taken the narrative in your own hands, you're not letting someone else do it. So how liberating is that?
It's liberating, and it's also really interesting to see that இப்போ வந்து, if you talk about modern journalism, you have people becoming journalists on Instagram.
Yeah.
Then you have journalists reporting everything from Instagram.
Correct.
So the loop is feeding into itself.
Yeah.
Which may be not great on some days. But mostly I would say that we're all starting to, even if we choose not to be transparent, எங்களை பத்தி transparent-ஆ பேச போறாங்க. So there's no escaping transparency, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
So when there is a actor வந்து absent from any industry, கொஞ்ச நாள் இருந்தாலும் there is, அவங்க போயிட்டாங்களோ, அவங்க இல்லை அப்படின்ற ஒரு பேச்சு வர ஆரம்பிக்கும். But then if you look at, because you are active on social media, when you look at what you're doing, it's not like you are idle-ன்றதே கிடையாது. நீங்க இது பண்றீங்க இல்லை இன்னும் இது பண்றீங்க அப்படின்ற விஷயம் போய்கிட்டே இருக்கு. So when there are constant chatter about you, that நீங்க இது பண்ணலன்னு சொல்லிட்டே இருக்கும்போது, இல்லை நீங்க எப்போ திருப்பி வருவீங்க, இல்லை ஏன் இது பண்ணலன்ற கேள்விகள்லாம் வரும்போது, but you have a clear answers for everything.
I wake up on Monday morning and I go to my work like everybody else, and அந்த நாள் என்ன வேலை இருக்கோ அதில் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணிட்டு வீட்டுக்கு வரும்போது, if somebody says, oh, I'm doom scrolling, அப்போ then I'll be like, oh, okay, especially தமிழில் வர மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க, தமிழில் பண்ண மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. And I know the reality. I'm signed on to 3 Telugu films post-pandemic and an English film. நான் தமிழ் ஸ்கிரிப்ட் கேட்டு எனக்கு பிடிச்சாலும் நான் எப்போ ஷூட் பண்ணுவேன் அதை.
Correct.
You know, and I think today we are beyond, not just me, all actors jumping across languages, fields, this. So I guess the question is, where is your focus? I would then say my focus is just to be a better artist than I was yesterday. நேற்று விட நாளைக்கு நான் இம்ப்ரூவ் பண்ணணும், அவ்வளோதான். That's it. That's my answer.
And while listening to scripts, வந்து இப்போ ஒரு ஸ்கிரிப்ட் முக்கியமாக இருக்கும், பட் த டீம் இஸ் ஆல்சோ வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். யார் கூட ஒர்க் பண்ண போறீங்க அப்படின்ற ஒரு விஷயமும் அது ஒரு ஃபேக்டராக இருக்கும். ஸோ do you, like, let's say you hear a great script, பட் உங்களுக்கு அந்த டீமோட, let's say there's not ஒரு வைப் இல்லையா இருக்கும்,
I won't do it.
You won't do it.
And I've been in situations where I've not followed my instinct. And it's not good or bad people.
Right, of course.
It's அந்த சில டைம் அவுட் ஆஃப் சிங்காக இருக்கும். இப்போ ஸ்கூலில் வந்து ஒரு 5th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்லேருந்து 7th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் வரைக்கும் you would have hated someone, and by 10th standard they become your best friend.
Right.
Because அந்த டைமில் அது சிங்க் ஆகலை. So it's like that even in the films, I feel. It's like high school. So I didn't follow my instincts before, and not to say good or bad, that no, in this setup, with this permutation combination,
I might not fit.
I may not fit, I may not enjoy it, I may not be able to contribute, I may be misunderstood, I may misunderstand them. So the follow பண்ணாத situationsல I'm like, yeah, well, you live and you learn. Some you just straight up know that, no, this is not my vibe.
Right.
Like, God bless you and
Yeah.
have a great trip. And then sometimes you know instinctively also that, okay, this will turn out, the ultimate goal that is important.
Correct.
It's not about marrying everyone you work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of fans know you as for different reasons. இல்லையா சில பேர் தெலுங்கு சினிமா பார்த்தவங்க ஃபேனாக இருப்பாங்க, தமிழ் சினிமா இருக்கும், ஹிந்தி இருக்கும், மியூசிக் இருக்கும், சோஷியல் மீடியா இருக்கும். ஸோ in some way do you think you're able to reach out to so many people in the way you want to? Like அவங்க, you're giving them everything. They can choose what they want.
Yeah, I suppose I'm like a buffet. Illa?
They can choose what they want to take from you.
Yes, I am the Shruti buffet. No, I don't know. I've never really thought about it that way. But you're right, because there are some people who come and love my Hindi film, Ramaya Vastavaya. There's people who like something else. There's people who like bestseller. And I also see the audiences changing. What was really amazing is to see a whole bunch of new people watch Three's re-release in Telugu.
Yeah.
They were like 18, 19. And I was just like, okay, this is fascinating. So there's now new fans who are 19 and 20.
Correct.
Who've seen Three for the first time in Telugu. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just really interesting. I've just been doing whatever எனக்கு என்ன இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கா தோணுதோ I'm doing basically.
And composing, நீங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இப்போ நான் நீங்க பாடிட்டு இருக்கும்போது கேட்டிருந்தேன். நானே I was humming Allah Jane. So I'm like
oh my god, that song. Yeah,
one of my favorite songs.
Thank you.
So அந்த facet of Shruti நிறைய பேர் பார்க்கலையே அப்படின்றது சினிமாவை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் கேட்குறேன்.
Because see, playback is me singing for someone else. Whenever someone's asked me to do playback for myself or other people, I've done. And but my passion is songwriting.
Right.
And expressing in that rock and roll blues kind of way. Whether I'm singing in English or Hindi or Tamil. So I feel that I didn't, I think even with just like acting in movies, if you sing a hit playback song, then you get into that loop. Right? So for me, it was always singing for myself. எப்போது வேற ஒரு ஹீரோனுக்கு பாடுங்கன்னு சொன்னா நான் பாடியிருக்கேன். Yeah, I've sung for Sonakshi, I've sung for Tamanna. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people don't even know that that's me singing for or Hansika or whatever. So I don't do that much playback anymore. And I don't know if it just kind of mutually happened because I also very in the public eye for the first time started touring in UK and playing live gigs. So அது natural சரி அவங்க அது பண்றாங்கன்னு ஒரு மைண்ட் செட்டும் வந்துருச்சு.
இப்போ செமி ஆட்டோபயோகிராபிக்கல் சாங்ஸ் தான் எழுதுறீங்க அப்படின்ற ஒரு விஷயம் இருக்குது. ஸோ டு புட் யுவர் செல்ஃப் அவுட் தேர் த்ரூ மியூசிக் அண்ட் த்ரூ சாங்ஸ். இப்போ நீங்கள் சொல்கிற மாதிரி தட்ஸ் நான் ஒரு டார்க் ஃபேஸில் எழுதியிருப்பேன். I saw an interview of yours where you said நான் லைவ் கிக்ஸ் பண்ணும்போது இட்ஸ் அ பர்ஃபார்மன்ஸ். ஸோ அந்த டைமில் நான் வேறு எதுவும் யோசிச்சுட்டு இருக்கலாம், பட் நான் என் பாட்டு தான் எழுதுறேன், அது என்னை பற்றி தான் இருக்குது, ஆனால் நான் பாடும்போது நான் வேறு. ஸோ how do you demarcate that? Like how's that evolved over time?
The songs that I've loved the most, thank you for that question, it's really lovely. The songs that I've loved the most are ones that spoke about their journey, but like a conversation, gave me enough room to give my journey to it as well, to plug my life in. So whenever I wrote, I've always said I've never liked the Dear Diary concept. Because it's almost like you're writing for somebody else to read it. I said, but in a sense, you are writing for another part of you to read it. Or you to read it later. 30 years later. So my writing really started to come from the different parts inside of me. And I've always been a person who's very open, but there are sides that I don't show anybody, like all human beings. And those sides that I don't show anyone are, it's not dark or evil. They are mostly afraid, scared, nervous. And these songs I write also for that voice. So that's where I find the way to switch between the two. What happened with acting, which really helped my music, is I allowed those personalities to then come out as songs. Because acting taught me that. How to embody an emotion of a person. And now I think, oh, these people are all within me. So now when I perform on stage, it is a performance. And it has the weight of what I've learned from cinema, and it has the weight of what these inner voices could never speak before. That cinema doesn't give me an opportunity for. And it's a world I go into. And people are more than welcome to come in, rather than some musicians create a circus. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's a carnival.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to go in. Or they are a billboard and you want to look at them. I'm not that. I'm like a cave, you know. And maybe not everyone wants to visit those parts of themselves. Yeah. But I found my light in my shadows.
Lovely. And finally, there's no way of saying I'm not a feminist. There's no other way. There's no other way.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of conversations about எது சரி எது தப்பு இப்போ சொல்லணுமா அப்புறம் சொல்லணுமான்ற ஒரு கான்ஸ்டன்ட் ஒரு டசல்.
Everything has become difficult to speak இப்போ.
Correct. So அந்த மாதிரி
இங்க மட்டும் இல்ல, everywhere in the world.
Yeah. So அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும்போது when you are advocating for something and you're seeing something near opposite happening, how does it help you to push forward?
நான் ஒன்னு சொல்லணும், பார்த்து பேசுறாங்க ஆனா பார்க்காம பேசுறாங்க.
Right.
That is what is going on, because we're becoming so careful about, but we're not actually having conversations with the people we disagree with.
Yes.
அப்போதானே இல்லைன்னா நானும் என் ஃப்ரெண்டும் உட்காந்து அதே தயிர் சாதத்தை பற்றி பேசிட்டே இருந்தா வாட்ஸ் த பிக் டீல்?
எக்கோ சேம்பர் மாதிரி.
Exactly. And social media is becoming that echo chamber in junctions. So whether it's topic of, you know, society, feminism, today there are so many conversations around gender identity. Adala, we all need to listen first. Purinjikonga first. We're all human beings. When we learn to respect and appreciate the other opinion only, can we even then have an opinion. So even feminism is taking a bashing now. Because what does it mean? Does it mean hating on men? And now I will definitely say the biggest influences in my life have also been the most amazing men, starting with my father.
Right.
And he's been a great role model for a daughter. He's taught me independence. He's taught me fearlessness. He's taught me loyalty to myself, which is a very different thing.
Yes.
So, what feminism means different things today. But yeah, I'm a feminist in the way that I understand it.
I think on that note, thank you very much for the
Thank
conversation.
Thank you so much, and such beautiful questions. I really had a nice time speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.